Thank you.
Are we live? Okay, let's do it. Do it. We gotta go. Get started. All right. Everyone's here for the caravana for the children. Gather respectfully, social distance. We're going into Plan B. I wanted to do a few. We are live on all of our social media channels of all the organizations, so we say hello to everyone joining us. Hello, hello. Bear with us. We're learning as we're going on the go with COVID regulations and trying to establish how we still gather. And technical things happen. Generators don't work even though they're working, and we'll get there. So the most important thing is that we're here together for such an important cause and much needed. It's been timely that we can get together and demand for the freedom and reunification and healing of the children and all the families that have been impacted by the previous administration's zero policy. We know that what we're dealing with is a long-standing issue that many of us are connected to. Migration is a human right, and so I'm just so thankful that you're here. We will get to the FM transmitter. We will get the music going, but we want to take a moment to ground ourselves. Once we get everything going, we're going to ask you to go to your car, listen via FM transmitter. Be safe. We'll caravan to Fox 455. We're a little delayed, but welcome. So, it is a gorgeous day to be in Dolores Park, Parque Dolores, un día precioso, y es importante, it's important for us to start right by acknowledging that we are visitors in native lands. So I want to start by introducing um, Sharia Souza and April Miguel. Sharia is the executive director of the American Indian Cultural District, which Dolores Park is a part of. And yes, these are lots of history, lots of spirit. And Abram McGill is the executive director of the American Indian Cultural Center. So it is only right that we always start things with acknowledging where we're at. And so please welcome. Thank you for being here. Come on up. We're going to invite them to speak, say a few words, and welcome you all. Let me get them first. Yeah, thank you. Before I introduce myself and read the land acknowledgement, I just wanted to share a few words about why it's important that we read the Rematosh Ohlone land acknowledgement here today. This is Rematosh Ohlone land. Our Rematosh Ohlone relatives are not people of the past. They are people that are here with us today. And they are people that are beneath us on this land today and with us here in spirit. So let's just be really mindful of where we are and where we stand today, that this is their land. That every time we read this, that it brings visibility to the people that once famous anthropologists said were extinct, that they are here, that they are very much alive, and that they are the creators of this land acknowledgement. So as we stand here today, I just want to ask permission to all the relatives that we can't see that are here with us today. I want to honor them in spirit, and I want to honor each and every warrior and each and every survivor of the Rematosh people that are still alive. I'm honored to be up here today and read this that was written by my brother Greg Castro and Jonathan Cordero, Rematosh Ohlone relatives. Oh. We acknowledge that we are on the unceded ancestral homeland of the Rematosh Ohlone, who are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula. As the indigenous stewards of this land, and in accordance with their traditions, the Rematosh Ohlone have never ceded, lost, nor forgotten their responsibilities as caretakers of this place, as well as for all people who reside in their traditional territories. As guests, we recognize that we benefit from living and working on their traditional homeland. wish to pay our respects by acknowledging the ancestors, elders, relatives of the Ramaytush community, and by affirming their sovereign rights as First Peoples. Good morning, everybody. Hello, my name is Sharia Souza. I'm the Executive Director for the American Indian Cultural District, Utah, Taos Pueblo, Iowa. Really honored to be here today and to be with each and every one of you on this sacred ground. And to be here to be asked as the American Indian community to support our relatives at the borders, our children that are being kept in an inhumane way, separated from their families. This is not okay for any of us or for any of our people. This isn't a Native issue. This isn't, a Latin issue. This is something that's happening to all our children. As you all know, the first separation that happened right here on this land was from Native kids from their families in the mission system. Today, if you go down to Monterey and you look on the walls, you can still see where the children who are separated from their mothers and fathers did the artwork. So as a woman who both has roots in Mexico and in California and Utah and all over the place, we just want to come here for unity and just say that we, are grateful and honored to stand here today on this ground. So thank you, each and every one of you, for the march and the walk that you're going to do to support these children.
Thank you, Sharia. We relatives, thank you for allowing us to be here. My name is April McGill. I'm the Executive Director of the American Indian Cultural Center, and I also work as the Director at the California Consortium for Urban Indian Health. I'm an enrolled member of Round Valley Indian tribes on Yuki, Little Lake Como, Wailaki, and Mishawapa on my father's side. And it was really important for Sharia and I to be here today to stand with you in solidarity because, as Sharia had said earlier, the first children that were taken were American Indian children. My grandmother was taken from her family and put in boarding school. And she was told that her Yuki ways, her language was not the way, and that she was to be a Christian. And my grandmother was a healer, and she learned a lot, and she never carried any kind of bad feeling in her heart because of it. But she used to tell us those stories of what happened to children in boarding school, and they were tortured. And I can only imagine how it must feel for all of you to see our children be in cages, because we know that happened right here with Mission Dolores, took the Ramaytush Ohlone children and enslaved them. This genocide happened so often to our children. California Indian people were the first ones to get human trafficked. Nobody likes to talk about that, but they put bounties on our children, on our men, $10 a head for the killing of Indian men, and our children were trafficked, and we see the trauma that it caused for all of us today, this generational trauma, this historical trauma, and we see this is what is going to happen to these children and these families that are being detained. They need to be released, and we also need to make them accountable, because what is going to happen after these children return to their homes? Who is going to create healing for them? How do we heal these children? How do we heal these parents who feel like they failed in protecting their children? This is very disheartening. It's very close to my heart, and it's only makes us relive our own history of what happened to our people. And so that's why it's so important for us to stand with you all in solidarity and demand that these children be returned home, and that this inhumane locking up our children stops, and that this injustice stops. So I thank you for that. I also just want to say that I appreciate the dancers and the singers that are here today. This Dolores Park is a grave site. It's a burial ground for those Ohlone folks, and so it is our way that we don't dance or we don't celebrate in that way. But we know that our dancers are here in a good way to bring those prayers and to bring those songs, and so we thank them for being there. And I just want to thank these relatives here, or these ancestors are here, and ask them to forgive us if we do things wrong, because we're still learning, and that it is not our fault that our ways were not taught to us. It's not our fault that we don't know that, but we're learning and we're doing things in a good way. So I just want to say thank you and all Yahweh. And I want to thank
So with that, before we transition over to the dancers, I just want to take this moment to pray out, to Creator, to give blessings and thanks to everybody who's here and who wanted to be here and who couldn't be here. That justice and love have no boundaries. There are no borders with love and justice. And that we are not going to allow pain and suffering to separate our movements. And let's be clear that this is a spiritual movement. This is a spiritual movement for the largest trees that are our elders and for our seeds that are coming behind us. Let's pass our believing for them. So it doesn't matter if Trump is gone and Biden is here, because for 7 generations of presidents, our spiritual movement will become stronger. So we're going to take this pain and suffering and we're going to fuel our fire for justice and love. And so our spiritual movement is here. And we hear it through our sisters' words. We walk with it with intentional prayer. And we move with our danzantes because we're on the same team. We're in the same nation for justice for our children. Él es Dios, son Mateo. Oh.
So guided with that spirit of being one nation for justice, thank you, sisters, for your blessings and for getting us started. We're so honored that we have with us today the kind of leader that exemplifies the leadership that we need right now, the unifying leadership, the strong and activist leadership. We're very honored to have the newly elected president of the Board of Supervisors for the City of San Francisco, Supervisor Shaman Walton.
Buenos días a todos. Good morning, everybody. And I first just want to say that I'm standing here with Supervisor Hillary Ronan and these beautiful young ladies to say, free the children. There is not a more heinous act that someone could commit than to separate families. It happened when they brought my ancestors over here to this country. It happened, as we heard, of course, to the Native American people when folks first landed here, and it continues to happen in 2021. The former resident of the White House snatched babies from parents, snatched babies from families. Now, it's when you talk about it, it may not seem as heinous, but I want you to close your eyes and get a visual. Close your eyes and think about families walking together and people in uniforms coming and snatching young children from their parents. And not only do they snatch them from their parents and take them away and separate them from their families, but then they put them in cages. They put them in cages worse than what we do to some animals. And now we know that the tally is over 600 children that have been separated from families that do not know where their parents and their families are. That's not the total number of children separated. These are children that do not know where their families are. So we have to not only call attention to it, but we have to make sure that our leadership, I'm excited about the changes that are happening in the White House. I'm excited about President Biden and Vice President Harris. But these next 100 days, they need to make sure that our children are freed and connected with their families and taken out of these cages. So we are here today to Caravan to make sure that people understand we're not going to stop. We were going to do this at the border, but because of this pandemic, we understand we have to do things differently, but that is not going to stop us from fighting for our children. So I'm here to say that the Board of Supervisors here in San Francisco is committed to continuing to work with community to make sure that that happens in the next 100 days. I'm here to say free the children. I'm here to say libertad para los niños. I'm here to say let's get our children out of these cages. Thank you so much.
Over 30 years, sunrise ceremonies for the Chicana moratorium or Shiloh ceremonies have been held here to hold space, sacred space for our community, for our families. Today we are here to hold space for those families who have been separated. The abuse, because it is child abuse. What this present presidency has done has really
families. We need this healing to do the work that we do porque es trabajo de corazón. Son las luchas que existen para llevar este cargo, para defender a estos niños, estas familias. It is a responsibility. It is our responsibility to create the awareness, the visibility these children need, these families deserve, like the monarchs migrate, the beauty, the transformation. That is humanity, and we all deserve that. Some love with the humanity that we possess here. In Pueblo, we could do that. All of us here together, we can do that. Mameteo.
Alright, can you guys hear me now? I think we're in business. We're still working out on the FM transmitter. So we're gonna keep moving with our program. Um, Again, thank you all for being here. As soon as the FM transmitter goes on, we encourage you to go to your cars so that we're not congregating here. We're still live streaming. It is my honor now to present and ask for the gift of song by our very local mission via Calexico, San Diego to San Francisco. El paparo de la misión ahorita, de la canción del movimiento. A round of applause for Francisco Herrera.
Se puede.
Sí se puede.
Our children are sacred. Oh. Oh, yeah. Na, 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 na. Let's hear one more time for our danzantes. Que se oiga ese aplauso fuerte. Our children are sacred. Nuestras niñas son sagradas. Oh, oh, oh. Pueblo, pueblo. Yeah, yeah. Na, 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 na. Ah, ah, ah. Canta tu canción. Let me hear you say it one more time. Sing it together. Cantemos juntos. Oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Pueblo, pueblo. Pueblo, pueblo. Yeah, na, na, na. Na, 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 na. Oh. Ah, ah, ah. Canta tu canción. La primera palabra de la opresión es cállate la boca. The first word of oppression is shut up. Don't tell mommy, it's our little secret. Don't tell the union, don't organize, don't speak up. Shut up. Calladita, te ves más bonita. The first word of liberation is speak up, speak strong, speak proud, tell your story, sing your song. We are one, you are, you are. La primera palabra de la liberación es habla, habla, di tu cuento, canta tu historia, canta tu canción. ¡Vamos! Oh, oh, oh. Pueblo, pueblo, yeah, na, na, na. Ah, ah, ah. Canta tu canción. Te veo vendiendo naranjas y sandías debajo de los puentes día a día, sembrando flores, cosechando amores, haciendo vida por donde quiera que va. Vamos todos. Oh, oh, oh. Pueblo, pueblo, pueblo. Órale, Gabriela. Yeah. Ah, ah, ah. Canta tu canción. Na, na. Oh, Daniela Lopez leading in the world of education, and our brother Adubu is here, telling the word of the African nation. Roberto Hernandez, Mayor of La Mission, and Olga Talamante, Bola setting up the word. Ani picking up the vision of the art pueblo. We are one body, we are one people working together, making a song, telling the story that we are strong. We've always been here, we ain't going nowhere now. Oh, oh, yeah, pueblo, pueblo. Yeah. Sigues cruzando las fronteras y los valles, los desiertos, los ríos, cerros y canales. Solo tú sabes lo que has tenido que sufrir y así persistes construyendo un porvenir. ¡Vamos! Oh, oh, oh. Pueblo, pueblo. Yeah, yeah. Pueblo tú, pueblo yo. ¡Ja! Ah, ah, ah. Canta tu canción. One more time. Pueblo, pueblo. Oh, oh, oh. Pueblo, pueblo. Yeah. Ah, ah, ah. Canta tu canción. Our children are sacred, familia.
Right, we're moving right along. Gracias, Francisco. Gracias for giving us a gift of canto. We all know that art heals, and that's why we're here, and we're committed to always showcase all the forms that allow us to really see ourselves reflected in the work, whether it's song, whether it's poetry, whether it's visual art, whether it's performance, whether it's experimental. All of it matters. It's what our cultura is about, and it's how we heal. La cultura cura. I want to bring up our next speaker. And it's kind of hard to represent what she means for us in our community. She's a chingona through and through, a leader, elder, guidance, and just a steady rock that keeps us going. And when this person tells you gotta do something, you do it. There's no way around it. You gotta do it. So, but the really amazing part of it is that she doesn't just tell you to do it. She's right there, hand in hand, elbow to elbow, making everything happen. And so it teaches us younger folks and others that come along that this is an intergenerational movement. This is about all of us being involved. So it is my pleasure to call to the stage la super chingona, informóloga, Olga Talamante.
Gracias, Annie. On behalf of the Caravan Committee, I'm here to represent the efforts that we've been carrying out to get to this day to launch the 100-day campaign. And we're not going to stop until the children are liberated, reunified, and healed. The core organizing committee is composed of representatives from Insituto Familiar de la Raza, CARECEN, Latinx Racial Equity Project, Chicana Latina Foundation. And today I want to give a special welcome and thanks to the coordinator of the safety monitor lead, Arturo Carrillo. Muchas gracias, hermano. So these represent some of the most brilliant and committed activists that we have in our community. We're local based, but with national and international impact. And that's what this campaign is going to take. The engagement and the commitment from all of you that are with us today. We know that our hearts have been broken time and time again, seeing the criminality against our children. But as we learned from one of our Loni sisters, our sister Corina Gold, when your hearts are broken, it means that your hearts are open. They're open for healing. And so we come with an open heart, with our hearts in our hands, to say the children must be freed, the children must be reunified, and the children must be healed. And that's why we're all here today. We want to support the policies of the new administration. We welcome the new leadership. And we also have learned from our years of activism and organizing that we cannot let our guard down, that we need to stay vigilant and engaged and organized, so that at the end of the 100 days, the first 100 days of this administration, of this new leadership, we can see not one single child in a cage. Not one single child in a cage. No more. This stops now. This administration and Congress and all of us have to act to stop what has been happening to those children. The children must be unified with their families, so the resources have to be put into that to find the families, find the parents wherever they are, and they must have the support and the resources for their healing after all the criminal acts against them. We acknowledge the many extraordinary organizations at the border and throughout the country that have been working tirelessly for the release and reunification of the children. We thank all of the immigrant rights and legal organizations that have led the way. Some of those families are right here in the Bay Area, and our local schools and organizations have been steadfast in supporting those families that come so valiantly and courageously, but also so much in need of our support. One of those schools is the Mission Education Center, right here in the Mission, receiving the newcomer families, and the madrinas of the regalitos have been supporting them. Let me just read from one of our communications. Enacted by the Trump administration in April of 2018, the zero tolerance policy separated over 5,400 migrant children from their parents while in custody of ICE agents. Many parents were deported without due process and without their children. There are still over 600 children that remain separated from their parents, unknown of their whereabouts. The policy has been deemed as torture by the Physicians for Human Rights, a group of medical and human rights experts. and has been named as one of the darkest chapters in the history of our nation. So, inspired by the new poet, and new prophet of this generation, Amanda Morgan, let us be the light that will bring the children out of the darkness. Free the children, reunify them, and heal them.
Do you see what I mean? You show up when she tells you to do something. Thank you, Olga. Thank you for your leadership, for your vision, and for always keeping us, our moral, being our north. Thank you. I want to, this whole project, we might be repeating ourselves over and over. It's 100 days. Today is the kickoff. Today is day one. We will be gathering virtually in action. Follow the campaign. The hashtag is 100 Day for Migrant, Caravan for the Children, 100 Días por Migrantes, Caravana por los Niños. And so we'll see you in 30 days. We'll see you in 60 days. We'll see you at the 90th day. The goal is on the 90th day to take off to DC and demand and have an accountability movement of what they've done and how they found these children. So it'll be 100 days, and we hope to see all your faces involved. And we also want to continue to create the work and support the messaging through an artistic lens. As I said earlier, la cultura cura, it is something that is fundamental. It's our human right. It's the way that we can claim space as well. To have it be site-specific. To make sure that at every moment, no one's telling the story for us. We are doing it for each other, and we're empowering our artists, our creatives, to be part of how we define our society. They're the ones that liberate us. They're the ones that are risk takers. I see other elder artists in the room, so I want to acknowledge the fierce elders that have created a path for us younger Chicana Latinx folks to be able to continue this path. So I want to acknowledge Mr. Hernandez in the crowd. We love you, Chicona. Love you, love you. There's poets in the house. There's writers in the house. And so I want to give a moment to the artists that really we invited several artists, and this woman just went with the ride, said we have to do it. And was just pumping every single, art piece, the chanclas, the backpack. I mean, she was on fire. She had 1 week and she hid in her apartment and came up with all this stuff. And we're just so honored that you have decided to join this, and we see you go through the process. And what I love about what she says is, that's my problem to fix. The art is my problem to fix because it's fixing a problem. It's not a big deal. And she creates beauty, and she creates things that are reflected on who we are. So I want to welcome Paola de la Calle via Colombia to Tennessee, to the Bay Area. And who else? Keep an eye on her. She keeps going and going. Welcome, Paola.
Thank you, Ani. Who are the missing children? What are their names? What do we as a country lose when we do not protect them, count them, find them? These are some of the questions I asked myself as I began the process of making this black and white relief print, Donde están los niños? The ones you have on your shirts and the posters. Too often we are presented images of migrant children sleeping in cages or getting tear gas at the border. And this is how their existence comes to be defined. This is how they are remembered. Migrant children are more than these depictions, more than the state-sanctioned violence inflicted upon them. There are no children featured in the artwork, and their absence is purposeful. As an artist, I understand the power of a single image and the power of art to be a catalyst for change. But art alone does not create change. Action does, accountability does, resistance does, the collective does. As artists and cultural workers, it is our duty to imagine new futures and create them with our hands and our words. It is our responsibility to imagine joyful futures, just futures, futures where children are reunited with their families and free to be children, futures where their childhood is sacred, futures where they are free from cages. My hope is that with our collective resistance, our collective imagining, our collective power and persistence, we will create a future where our children are free. Thank you.
Well, you didn't take off your mask?
No.
This COVID thing is like, I'm like, wax off, wax on. Toda la cosa. All right, but we want to get moving. We're going to continue to do some of these conversations in the truck. We're going to have some music. But before we move forward, we have two more speakers, I believe. You know, we're here because of the children. We're here because we know that, you know, when they come back, there's a lot of healing. And these folks came up here not out of, you know, the thought that this is just Disneyland. Folks left their homes because of despair, because of need, because of wanting education access, because all the things we are also responsible as in the country in inflicting into these Central American and South American communities. So one of the things that when 2018 happened, we heard over and over, young children coming. Parents want the best education, access, healing, and that's something that's really important. And we're so excited. In San Francisco right now, we have our Latinx president of the school board. Can we just say it again? President of the San Francisco Unified School District is a Latina woman. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. So the moment is now. She's also from Southern California, I find out. So vis-a-vis LA to the Bay Area. And I think we're trying to have folks move in a little bit because the lowriders are coming. Let's let the lowriders happen so they don't steal our thunder. Awesome, lowriders. Okay, do you want to catch the lowriders? Yes, Tracy! Woo! Thank you. Awesome. Oh, and let's give a shout out to Roberto who saved the PA. Jay. Woo! Look at that. Yes, so that too is culture. That beauty. Those are walking art pieces. Thank you. So back to Gabriela in your role. Congratulations, first of all. I think it's amazing. Thank you for being here with us, and we welcome you. She's also a teacher. So it's like, this is amazing. The future is here. It's now. It's happening. Bienvenida, Gabriela. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. I do want to share, I do not take it for granted being welcomed into this space. And Olga, when you gave me a call, there was no doubt that I would show up. So thank you for inviting me. I found that writing is a form of healing for me, so I prepared a brief statement that I wanted to share with you. What has transpired at our borders, especially under the previous administration, has been nothing but shameful. I come from an immigrant family who risked and gave everything for a better life for me and my siblings. I stand amongst community members whose background is similar to mine, and the many others who come here seeking better opportunities for our children. It is these very people who are often on the front lines, who are always giving back, and who continuously come to defend our communities. We all dedicate our labor and love without having to defend our citizenship. Future children and families deserve the same and need us to help continue to do that and to voice that. I have had the privilege to work directly with children who have come here from other countries and know that our schools, we make sure, are fully accepted, respected, and caring of our children. It's what we do naturally, especially in the Latino community. We often speak of unity, and in this space, we actually have to show it. We need this to be embodied in all levels of elected and community leadership and be backed by action. not just our words. We have some semblance of hope, but we must not relent. Thank you. All right, the moment has come. We're gonna have more speakers live streaming. Go to your cars and put your phones on Facebook, YouTube, Galería de la Raza, SF, YouTube, or you can go to Facebook. It's streaming to Insituto Familiar, it's streaming to CARECEN, it's streaming to Galería, it's streaming to Latino Equity Project, right?
Latinx Racial Equity
And
Project.
Racial Equity Project, and then who else?
CLF.
Oh, and Chicana Latina Foundation. So go to your cars. We're gonna start the music. I want to hear everyone rev their engines. Just don't choke your cars. But go to your cars. Let's get moving forward. We're gonna close the truck, and we're gonna open up with a set with music by DJ Juan Love. Can we get a shout out to DJ Juan Love? And we'll have more on the truck. So again, take photos. Tag us with 100 Days for Migrants, 100 Días por Migrantes. Tag us with Caravana por los Niños, Caravan for the children. Stay in touch, do video, do photos, do everything. And then reach out to us to find out how we're trying to make this a state and national movement. We want all communities involved. Am I missing a shout out to anyone else? Thank you for your patience. Just really, thank you. This is all like tripping as they're happening. And then I also want to thank my team that's on virtually, making sure it's streaming. It's been streaming along. Thank you, Henry. And thank you to all the volunteers. Thank you for showing up. Thank you. So let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
This needs to go in too.
Wait, I gotta get on there.
Is Elena coming up here too?
No.
tu patria, la luz de las enfermas y la cumbia de tu patria. Y la cumbia de tu patria, y la cumbia de tu patria, y la cumbia de tu patria, y la cumbia de tu patria. Cumbia colectiva. Así, así, así.
like trying to hold on to this. Are you happy? Yeah. Stopping traffic. Woo! Woo! Free the
today?
We're here to free the children
From what?
from being caged in detention centers without their families, subjected to all kinds of torture and mistreatment. And we cannot stand for it anymore. And we're calling on everybody to unite with us to free the children now.
Gloria, what's next after we free the children? What happens afterwards?
After we free the children, and that's where we have to start. We have to start with our children. And when we reunify them with their families, we need to begin the healing process of the trauma that they've endured and continue to endure. And that's what we need to do.
So who are we demanding this from? What would that look like? Who are we asking this of? Like, how do we keep them accountable?
The new administration, we have a lot of hope for them to do the right thing, to enact policies immediately to free the children. Congress has to act, and our communities have to stand guard. Our communities have to insist that this happen now.
¡Esto! Vanessa!
What a beautiful day for starting Caravan. A Caravan for the children. For a 100-day journey.
Yes.
De reunify, de heal, liberar, reunificar y sanar a nuestras familias. I will use the word for the 46th President of the United States. To heal, we must remember. And we remember the 54 children that separated from their families at the border. 600 is still in the centers. And we will not rest until they get united with the families. We will not rest until the families finally can heal. The damage done to our community, the present administration cannot be undone in one day. But we want to make sure that we become united as a one and we heal.
So we have 100 days.
We have 100 days. Come and join us.
Yes.
Sure.
Everyone should join us. Yes, yes. Thank you. Free the children! Shit, we're almost there. So, what do you want to see done in the next 100 days?
The next 100 days, we want to see Biden continue to use executive power to reverse as many of the Trump policies, inhumane, cruel, human rights violating policies. We want to see him work with the Congress, both the House and the Senate, to guarantee the votes that we need for his proposed legislation. We're still waiting to see what exactly the details of the legislation are, but so far we've heard that it includes 11 million people. It includes DACA, TPS, and farm workers, so we're really happy about that. And we know we have a lot of work ahead to make sure we lock down those votes and for once and for all, bring relief to migrants in this country. In addition, of course, at the tip of the arrow, to make sure this country does right by the children, by reunifying them, by protecting them and their families here in the United States, and investing in their healing. Because this country has violated their human rights, and the only way to make this right is by taking care of them. We're happy to be here with everyone. San Francisco is always, coming through. We were not going to go down quiet. We're cautiously optimistic, but we are more committed than ever to make sure the Democrats fulfill their promise Republicans to once and for all get on the right side of humanity.
What do you see this campaign doing across the nation and the state? What's your dream about it?
My dream is that as we travel across the country, we will connect with other communities who are part of this struggle as well, so we can bring together, build power together, and really start working together to envision what the future of this country can be like. So we want to connect with Native leaders, we want to connect with African American leaders, with young people, with so many of the advocates that work so hard to win this election and to vote against hate, against 45. He's a nightmare and he's gone, and we're so happy about that. But the struggle continues.
You hear that? It continues. We're arriving to 455 Golden Gate, the federal building, where we'll be saying our demands. We thank you for joining. We have a little bit more music, and then we have a gift to the children. A song called Los Niños Son Sagrados. It'll be playing for you to enjoy while we blasted in front of the federal building and demand to free the children, reunite them, and heal them. Look at this building. It's fair policy. Hold on. Yeah. Free the children! Free the children! Free the children! Free the children!
Where do you want her to park?
Just tell her to double park here. Just sit here, yeah. Free the children! 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 Take a photo of that. Free the children!
We do this song now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Are you gonna say anything?
I already did. So we're moving over to the song. Thank you for joining us. Stay involved. 100 Days for Migrants. Caravana por los Niños. We leave you with this gift of music. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you stay connected, and then you'll find ways to have actions in your local neighborhood, communities. You are not alone. Join us in this movement. We love you, and enjoy the gift. Mwah.
Cuánta dulzura y valor de una madre y su niño que migra y camina hacia una vida mejor. If this is really the home of the brave, may our gates now be open for you. Have the courage to walk through a perilous fight with a child in your arms. Our children are sacred. Nuestros niños son sagrados. Our children are beautiful. Bellos son. Our children are gifts. Son el regalo más amado. Our children are sacred. Sagrados son. Y aquí están cruzando fronteras.
on a farm, the separation doesn't bond. No es justo, es un abuso y te acuso de ser sucio. Es hora de cambiar el instituto. Luchamos y aguantamos, nunca hemos sido brutos. El sistema está quebrado, hemos sido abandonados. Me siento bravo, nos tratan como esclavos y no estamos unidos en los estados. Los corazones de mi gente están maltratados.
Llenos de esperanza, una vida con ganas de amar. Son las maestras, doctores, artistas, madres, ingenieras de un mundo de paz. Nuestros niños son sagrados, bellos son,
regalo más amado.
sagrados son. Our children are sacred.
We welcome and embrace the family, yeah, and give them love. We declare sanctuary, building bridges, not walls.
Our children are sacred.
We must protect our children.
Children are sacred.
Show them how that love is really real.
Our children are sacred.
Hey, they got to know that love, that love is real in this world. Quererlos, amarlos. Our children are sacred.
Los niños
Our children are sacred.
nuestros niños
Our children are sacred. Children are sacred.
los niños
Our children are sagrados.
As one worker with
Ha il tehton sten kakwal hat tuya kachman bishka charman hatum takpenka yan hatum tionka tohnika alama yan chonal chimachichahi hanka keit kupchichuyi khawakin ki bish okl tepeteh okhsh chawtalas tay bish okhsh cheltakpetli